Welcome to the Lean Practice Podcast. I'm Angus, joined with Aaron and Nathan, and the idea here is pretty simple. It's three of us just talking about the profession, what's working, what's not, and what's not being spoken about but probably should be. Between us, we've seen bullshit advice that's causing chiros to quit the profession by the time they're 40, and we'd like to just help put an end to that. We aren't really in this to tell you what to do, how to do it, or what the best playbook is. We're here to just show you what it actually looks like to build a practice around the life that you want, rather than the one someone else drew up for you. That's really it. Let's get into it. This week, we're talking lean advertising and marketing because I think that's a thing that's not thought through properly. So yesterday I was talking to some guys, they own a space called Gather in the city. Basically the model is you hire per hour for this really nice space and you save money on the overheads because you don't have to hold the space all week. So the idea is like you get busy, you have a cheap overhead and you use it when you need it and you get patients and there's a good profit margin there. That's the concept. The issue that they have is I think they've got about 50 practitioners. So this is chiro, physio, psychology, like there's heaps of different ones there. They've got all these people. Their break-even numbers is like 3 hours a week. You know, if like those 50 were there 3 hours a week, life's good for them. They've broken even. They can't even get the practitioners that are in that building can't even get 3 hours worth of work to hire the space enough. So these guys have now gone down the channels of like, well, we need to teach them how to do personal branding. We need to teach them how to do CRMs, Facebook ad. Like they're going crazy because they're like, I got to teach these people how to be busy. And they literally said to me yesterday, like, what is wrong with these healthcare professionals? Like they're so good at what they do, yet they cannot generate a new patient. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what the process is like. And there's literally 1.2 million people who go in and out of Sydney every single day. They can't even get 3.5 hours worth of work. And some of them do 1 hour appointments. So they need 3 people. They can't get them. So it was, and I was like, well, what are they doing? Because they're obviously there. And they're like, yeah, we walk into the break room. There'll be 6 healthcare professionals sitting on Claude building a landing page and a lead magnet. None of them post content on anywhere or run ads. So they're literally building something that no one's ever going to look at. It is like, that is such a summary of what we know we do. It's like the lowest hanging fruit is literally outside the door. Like they could stand on the street with a whiteboard that says, does your back hurt? I'll help you. And I reckon they'd get 3 hours worth of work in a day. It was like, I've known this, but this was like a nice fresh slap on the face on an ice cold morning just to be like, okay, guys, we've gone so far down the Hormozy Bro Avenue of building all this crap that we don't need. What if we went back 10 years, 15 years, and like what strategies are working probably better now because everyone else has stopped doing it as well. So that's what we want to go through. It's like, okay, well, what does lean advertising and marketing look like? What's a strategy? But then like, what's the other stuff that you could just do that we've probably just stopped doing because Facebook pumped for a few years there and we just thought, hey, this is great. So that's the topic. If we were going to launch practice today, we're going to try and keep it lean. What will we do? And then, yeah, basically it's like, what would that look like for us? Because obviously you're in Perth, Nath, I'm in Sydney, Aaron, you don't have, like you've got experience building other businesses, probably brick and mortar stuff like as a PT. So interested to learn like from other professions as well. But basically it's just like help people think differently because all people are thinking of right now is the wrong stuff, in my opinion anyway. So first things first, I want to clear up. Advertising and marketing are not the same thing. The advertising is a part of marketing. And I really think people advertise and they don't market. And I think that's why Facebook's not working for people anymore, or even Google. So Aaron, if you could just give us a 2-sentence definition, what's the difference between marketing and advertising?
Marketing would encompass all of the strategies to take someone from not knowing you to buying from you.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising is a subsect of that, where I buy the attention of people who do not know me so that I could potentially get them to buy from me.
Yeah. So it's literally like the way I try and explain when people just run ads is they've set up a market stall, like they've paid for a space at a Sunday market, they've set up the stall, everything looks great. And then because they've got no brand or no marketing, like they've got nothing else going on, there's no one there. It's like people are just walking past and they're just hoping people write their names down. That's what's happening in a digital space. Nath?
I'm going to one up that analogy. Again, it's exactly like that, except they didn't turn up to their own stall. So they're
Literally.
just hoping that people happen by and sign themselves up. Like it's not even. I mean, I've been to markets where chiropractors have got stalls and they're just like standing behind the table in the stall, not talking to anyone. But that, like, yeah, just running advertising without any of the other marketing strategy is like you put the stall down there and you just left everything there and let people book themselves in.
Yeah, literally. That is literally what. And then you get angry at the person who set the stall up for not getting enough new
Yeah.
patients.
But why did I pay all that money? You didn't get me any patients. It's just
Yeah.
like, no, you pay for access to where the people exist. It's your job to convert people.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the absolute pinnacle of this is white labeled ads that don't even feature you in it. That is like second tier then is, well, at least you've got your own freaking logo on there, but it's like you got to show up. What we mean by showing up is having a marketing plan. So having a social media, personal branding, whatever, like show up online. But then this also encompasses things like long-term nurture sequences, reactivations. You know, some people do YouTube. I don't think chiros really need to do that. Even just like collaborating with local businesses, just anything online. If there's a picture or a video, that's your marketing strategy, right? Like it should all point back to the same thing. And then advertising is just showing what your offer is. I don't think a strategy for being some big dog, you know, multi-clinic owner is going, oh, I found a building. What I'll do is I'll get a chiro in there and then I'll turn on some Facebook ads. You got no game, bro. That's not even a strategy. That's an ad. And you don't even know if the ad's going to work. Like, what the hell is that? So, Nath, if we went back and we could start again and so let's go back to the stone age of literally all the things that you could do that don't include digital marketing. What would you do if you had to start fresh again?
100%. And like, I should say, like, this isn't going back to the Stone Age. This is the shit you should be doing. Like, I feel like you have to earn the right to do paid advertising.
Yeah.
But you don't have the money to do the paid advertising. And this whole, like, well, I'm going to back myself. Yeah, back yourself into a corner, more like it. Like, have often taught, you know, especially in like my launch program, I taught the like all the X, which is like a concept that Lawrence Tam sort of taught me, in the idea that when you first start marketing, you are basically 100% organic and external marketing, right? Now, external marketing would include digital ads, but you don't have any money in theory when you're setting up. So it's all in person. The whole purpose is to get your face in front of as many people as fast as possible. What that does not include before your head is like a priority space for your clinic. Your clinic does not need street frontage anymore. Its cost is largely worthless. Don't let the real estate try and tell you otherwise. A fancy brand and like thing, like all the purpose of decals on your wall are, and I've literally had like chiropractors tell me that they haven't started marketing yet because they're waiting for the stickers to go on. Like all that helps is the people that have already booked find your clinic.
Yeah.
Like people aren't booking, like I have been in North Fremantle and people often have to pull up at the lights and wait and look at my clinic. And I have got a dog on the door. I've got a giant dude with a beard who wasn't actually designed off me, but looks suspiciously like me. All these things that would not look like a chiro clinic to make people look. And I still have like, of the probably 4,000 or 5,000 people that we've had through the clinic over the last 6 years, I think we are sub 10 people that booked because they walked by.
Yeah.
Right? So that's not a strategy, number one. What is a strategy is understanding who you actually want to look after and not getting tied up early on the I just need people in my practice, because that's a surefire way for it to go to an absolute dumpster fire. And then go, well, where are those people? And then put yourself in them. It's not even that hard. Like I like to look after people that are active and trained. So what did I do when I opened my clinic? When I flew back across from, like, I took the lease without even seeing my practice. Wasn't even there. It was getting fitted out because I was still working in Victoria. Flew back, fitted out, left to South Africa, came back, and it was COVID was hitting in Australia, and I still had like, wasn't much. It was like 30 people booked in my first week. I mean, I think we did like $1,500, and I was like, holy shit, I am killing it right here, right? And we still cranked along. But the point is, what did I do? I got in front of everywhere. So I went to every gym within, I reckon, like in a 10-kilometer radius, even though it was well out of radius. Introduced myself, asked how I could help them, find out about the right people to send to them. I reached out to every physiotherapist that was in the area to find out about them and how I could refer to them. Every massage therapist, every sporting team, every Pilates studio, yoga studio, like, where are my people? I went and met all the people that had my people. I offered to work with them, and then I built a relationship. I'm also on a little like strip in North Fremantle that has a bunch of other businesses, bottle shops, barbers, coffee shops. I went and met all those businesses, right? So that people knew who we were. And lo and behold, people started to know who I was. I even did, not that I think this is the greatest strategy, but I Hail Married it. We did a flyer drop in the local area. I had no intention of anyone ever reading these flyers. Like we did an opening special. The picture was literally a picture of my dog wearing a party hat, just so people might look at the flyer for a moment. But all I wanted them to see was my logo so they could start to associate that with other things. So they could see my logo, they might drive past, they might see me somewhere. So I'm hitting all those avenues at the same time. The flyer drop cost me like $100, and my mum who lives in the area walked and handed them all out, right? So it was super easy. In fact, half the people were like, oh, what are you putting in there? And mum started chatting to them, and we got patients from that. Family are helpful on this. So, but like it cost me nothing but time. When you first open a practice, what you have in spades is time. Like your time's worth nothing because you're not seeing anyone. And don't give me this theoretical, like, well, I could see 8 people an hour, so my time's worth $600 an hour. Well, if it was, you'd be actually making that money. One day you might, and then you can argue about it, right? So getting in front of people.
Divide what you're earning now by 60 hours. That's how much you earn. It's probably $2.50.
If that. Like one of my favorite ones is like a cartoon back in the day where this like I think he goes up and he's like, "You're not paying me enough." He's like, "What am I paying you?" He's like, "Nothing." He's like, "Sweet, I'll triple it." And then like just walks off, and the dude's like, "What? Wait a minute." And that's what he's just like, "Oh, I'm worth all this. My time's worth more." I was like, "Well, so you've overvalued yourself. So you've done nothing because it's not worth your time, and you're continuing to make no money. I don't know how to help you, Chief. You are the problem." So it's getting in front of people. There are also structured organizational groups. You can join a chamber of commerce. It's like $35 a month, and you get access to a bunch of other business owners. You could, if you are someone who can speak in front of a group, you might pay the money to join a BNI, Business Networking International. You go in as the only chiropractor and you work together, get referrals from each other. I've done that. It's been very good. I've seen other people it wasn't great for, but there are options, right? Local markets, go down and do markets. Other opportunities, right? Like it's just go, go, go. As I say to my associates when they start, like, we're going to do everything. We're literally going to throw mud at a giant wall, and then we're going to see what sticks and what returns and what you enjoy doing. And we're going to try and consolidate to the things that return the most and you enjoy doing. And this is without paying any money at this stage.
Okay, you've made 17,000 points. So let's go back. First
All
one.
right.
With the markets, I think the markets everyone rolls their eyes at. Ed's doing pretty well at the markets, hey? Like he's getting like 30 or something every time he goes.
30 might be excessive, but like he does like a market a fortnight, and like on average, I would say he gets 3 to 5 new patients every time, right? What does it cost him? About 4 hours of his time, and it costs me as a business owner about $60 and a bit of nous. Some days he's gotten more, some days he's gotten less. Obviously, as it rains, it can be a challenge. But I mean, he's also in a market that has a chiro there every week, which I actually think's an advantage because it, again, more people see more chiros, they then pick the chiro they like. I don't think competition is actually a bad thing in this. I think having diversity helps more people book in. But there's a lot of little ones that you like. I've done markets where like no one's been there before, and you go in, you might crank 10 new patients on your first try. Ed did a little micro market for like one of the yoga communities we use. I think he booked like 8 new patients. Booked them for like, he couldn't get them in, so I was getting new patients from it. And then that was just the first flow of those people. They've then on referred a bunch. Just silent nod to Aaron here for those playing on the video podcast. He continues the streak with the no free ads, but the glory that is the carbonated energy drinks. But back from the side profile, like people roll them eyes, and I have not loved them. But I remember in my first year out, I'm in my first practice, I was doing all my other stuff as well. Like I got made fun of because I did so many. I think I did 50 meetings in a week, right? Like in just meeting gyms and stuff like that. We start to crank along, and then we get invited to do one of those group screenings where you go to like an expo and you're the clinic that's north, another clinic south, east, west. So you sort of consolidate cost and staffing, and then you screen people, and then anyone who's closest to your zone gets sent to your clinic. And I was like, we went to the gardening show, and I was 100% like, this is a waste of time. I was so negative on it, but I was brand new. The boss wanted to do it, so I did it. Turns out the slogan, healthy spine, healthy garden, hits home for people, especially your oldies. We had like 25 new patients that came from this one thing. Like it was outrageous. And like every clinic picked up 20 new patients for what was probably like a minimal cost. Obviously, it depends on where your clinic's at. I've since done them with my clinic in North Frio. Weird location geographically doesn't work for that kind of concept. So that's why we do local markets. But like if you're in a centralized area, those kind of things, great. And so like you can not like something, but if it works, and I mean like, not like it from you just don't like going and chatting to people the whole time, not because it's unethical in some way, which because doing screenings isn't, it's totally fine. But just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't work. And the way you get to not have to do it anymore is you build your practice enough that you can work on internal referrals and you don't need the market anymore. But you don't get to opt out of doing it when you're not busy enough to support yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the trap, right? Like everyone, I feel, thinks that maybe they see their principal or they've seen another chiro who doesn't have to market. So then they're like, oh, cool, I don't have to do it. But then they forget that they've been doing that for 30 years, and then back then they did a thing every week and did all this other stuff. And people actually now know the brand and what's there, and that's what's lacking. It seems to be lacking in real life like that because people aren't going outside, but then the same expectation is online. Like no one's posting every day. Then they think they can run ads and that's going to, somewhat solve their branding issue.
Yeah. The worst advice you ever see now, and I'm not even going to say a name, but my God, there's about 15 of these people. I think it is I don't like hanging on the boomers here, but let's be honest. It is the regional chiropractic clinic boomer who's run a solo clinic in a regional town for like 40 years, telling everyone that doing advertising in any sense, and it's particularly online advertising, is unneeded and you just need to be like excellent at your job and only see the people you like.
Yeah.
Is the boomerest ignorance that I have ever seen. Like,
yeah, bro. There's a bit of that last weekend.
Oh my, I'm so close sometimes to just typing underneath me like, let me see you start from scratch in a regional centre right now. Like, let me see it. Because you might have a whole load of humble pie there, brother. And like, I still believe that a lot of these crew that built really successful practices would still build a successful practice. I just think they might come crawling back to a few strategies to get them launched.
Yeah, yeah. When I was sitting in that event, I think 45% of the speakers said exactly what you just said. And I was sitting there and I was like, are they talking to me? Like, is that because they're just like, social media is a waste of time, just be good at what you do? Nah, it's sort of part of the game now. And if you don't, that's a great example though. It's like, okay, go start a new practice somewhere that no one knows you. What are you going to do?
And like, I still agree that like if you don't want to do social media, you don't have to, but you have to make up the gap with all the other things.
Yeah, well, that's it. Hey, it's like it's a strategy. It's like actually there's a million things you can do, but make sure you got a strategy together so that they all complement one another. You don't have to do all of them.
No, but I still think like as much as people complain about social media, myself included, it's never been like you've never had more access to more people that like what you do more easily at a limited cost. Like, it used to be hard to get in front of people. You had to go find emails. You had to like go and cold call either on phone or just drop into businesses to try and hook things up. Next minute, casual DMing is a standard.
Aaron, what would you say is like the shiny, like if you saw someone starting a practice, what are a couple of shiny things that you think traditionally could just be dropped? Like personally for me, building out like a website, a $3,000 setup, probably not needed,
I would say, yeah, website. Yeah, I typically hear in a launch, I'm building a website. I need to wait for my SEO guy to get his stuff sorted first. Which again, SEO is a long play. Website is also a long play. Your social media now is effectively your website. You could just never have a website and you would still be okay. What else? What
I
else?
know lead magnets are one. I don't know where I know where you stand, but it's like I don't think they have any merit.
Yeah, lead magnets are tough, right? Because unless you've got something really important to say, the lead magnet valued at 0 is also valued on the other side at 0. Like there's no real value that is exchanged because most information is free. So unless it's unless it's something crazy like it's your entire first 5 sessions for free as a lead magnet,
Yeah,
I
which
mean,
is I think illegal.
nobody would yeah which nobody would or could do. That's the type of value exchange that is required for a lead magnet. So then you compare that to your 10 tips for back pain. Like you're not going to do that, and then there's someone who does that on YouTube way better. They can answer that. So I think lead magnets are very very much a waste of time in many cases, unless you're extremely pointed and niched with your messaging. So it's how, cricket players, more specifically how bowlers injure their backs by doing certain techniques and how you would rehab that particular type of bowling style. That would become valuable because it's super niche to that person. But again, most people don't want a niche either. So Yeah, lead magnets, SEO, website. What else is a huge one? Signage.
Yeah,
Having
excessive
any sort
signage.
of, yeah, very expensive, on the front lawn, or on the frontage there. Or one thing in the past was highway frontage.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, it's just so expensive, man. And it's all long game stuff. Like, you can do that stuff a little bit later, but my problem with a lot of the stuff is you cannot calculate the return on it. So there's no there's no game to play. You don't know how many impressions have gone past. You don't know, of those impressions, how many of those turn into a walk-in, or like, it's a very hard game to measure. So I would say, yeah, it's valuable, because it does increase brand over time, but not necessarily at the beginning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's kind of what I was rattling through my mind as well. I would like,
Mm.
personally, for me to be, well, if I knew I was going to start a practice, I'd start posting the day I decided, even if that day's 2 years away. And then, because so even going back, like a lead magnet, the point of that is to capture emails, to then email those people enough that you build enough value that they want to book an appointment. Very much the same as what a lead ad is. Like, you run a meta ad, you're chasing someone's details to get in contact with them to hopefully book them in. They might be further along the journey of where, like, they want to actually purchase. So that's where you can get, like, you put an ad up, you get a lead, it's like a direct return. But ultimately, you're still probably 50% of the leads are going to maybe talk to you, the other 50 probably aren't. And then it's like, again, if you don't have a game plan for those other 50%, what are you doing? Like, a lead magnet doesn't even make
Mm.
sense if you're not going to email people. Like,
Correct.
why? So
Yeah.
if, like, the game of online social media, even if you think standing at a marketing stall, you get someone's name, you get their details, you try and help them if they talk to you. If they don't, then you need some kind of strategy to long-term nurture them and be prepared to do that for years, I reckon. And then, as you say, all these other things, like, they see your sign maybe a few times, maybe they drive past and like, oh, there's that chiro. Does that mean that that is what made them book in? Probably not.
Mm.
Um, the letterbox drop, I've done 2 of those in my time. I think we did like 4,000 letters. I signed all of them because it was like, oh, we should do a personal thing. So, and then we like broke it down into how many visits per person had done. So, like, they were kind of like different. Some were like colored, some had stickers on them, all this sorts of shit. I got 2 patients. One guy was like, he came in and he was real sus, and he brought the letter with him. And I'm like, it was normal, but he was just being weird. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, just moved into this house, got this letter. This isn't me, but like, can I take the offer? I'm just like, sure, dude. Like, it's fine.
You're like, yeah, sure, why not?
And he was a good patient. But again, it's like 4,000 letters, signed them all. That took hours.
Mm.
The return on that, I don't know. But again, it's
Mm.
like just getting people knowing that you're out there. That's the main thing. Nath, from your end, what are you seeing people maybe getting distracted on, anything other than those things that Aaron mentioned?
I think that's it, right? Like, and I think I'll be the first to put my hand up and say that, my God, if I spent some time, and I think it can go both ways. It can be just from ignorance, or it can be that you get stuck in the feeling of always like you need to be doing something. So you're like, oh, I'm doing so
Mhm.
much work on my business.
Mhm.
And you're like making all these lead magnets and all these things. You're like, look at all the cool things I made, but they're just random things without an actual strategy around them. It's just to sort of
Mm.
like hate the idea in your mind that you're not doing enough. So you're like, oh, I should do this. Where you're like, if you actually just got out and probably chatted to people, it would be worth. So you said before, if someone went outside with a whiteboard and just said,
Yeah.
hey, I can probably help you back 50% off if it's not true. And then they came in, they'd probably be busier than all the Claude stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just,
Mhm.
I mean, you will see my name get pinged with a bunch of stuff of me getting auto DMs about different Claude creations, but I'm not using most of that for my clinic. I'm using it for other projects to build stuff out. So again, I think this, not to sidetrack it, but this comes back to that same idea of marketing to the right audience, in the sense of like, there's probably a lot of the stuff that these practitioners are doing that is valuable if they were building something that was selling to another, like, it's the same with, you see most like practitioners Facebook marketing, like they're talking to another practitioner rather than a patient. I think those are the big things. I think a lot of it is just a failure to act, lead magnets, new pretty websites, promoting the tech that they've got, when as we've discussed, like, tech doesn't generally have a tangible value to most patients unless it has, look at me show you this scan result and this stuff. It's like, well, does that actually matter? How does the patient know? Whereas, if you could show them some kind of therapeutic input and possible result within APRA guidelines, of course, that might have some value. But those are probably the biggest things I see. And I can see it from, like, I've got a number of crew that I've mentored through my launch program that have opened practices from scratch, and they go. Like, the ones that are doing well, they do it all. They're just like, what can I do next? What can I do next? One of them wanted to do a market school, and he's like, so you just bring your stuff down and set up? And I was like, no, you actually have to book in, like, there's a fee. He's like, oh, I was just going to rock up. I appreciate that level of hustle. Like, I don't even judge that. I'm just like, fuck yeah. He's just like, I'll ask for forgiveness. Let's go. And, he, one of them was at the markets this weekend where we normally go. His clinic's not even very close at all, but he's just doing everything because he's trying to go fast. So it's like, you might luck out and pick up a few great patients from there. I mean, I've had multiple examples of good colleagues that have gone and done, I remember one good friend who went and have to do a 5 a.m. yoga class on a Monday when she didn't even work on a Monday, and the clinic was next to the clinic, and the clinic is 50 minutes from where she lives. Turned up, because she's like, oh, it'll be a good opportunity at least. Actually turned up. There were 4 people in the class. I was like, I've wasted my time. End up speaking to this one person. That one person in the first year referred her 50 patients after she came in. So, like, you only need 1 or 2 great referrers to build an entire practice, right? Like, so every opportunity is a good opportunity. But if the opportunity doesn't put you in front of people, like if it doesn't create opportunities that put you in front of people, it is therefore not valuable. Because like you said, building those things doesn't, and you don't have an audience to put them in front of, zero value.
Yeah. Maybe just break down like what's involved in the market stall then, because I really do feel like not a lot of people anymore would have done one. So walk us through the steps, and then even just like how do you contact businesses to go and talk to the gym? Like, what's the process?
Yeah, cool. So like market stalls, you reach out. There's always someone that runs it, and you often have to hassle. Sometimes you got to go down, but find out. They usually want people there because you pay for a stall fee. If they're set up well, they'll never be like. Lots of the time there's a chiropractor there already, but they might do 1 or 2 weekends and you could slot in around it. You need usually a little like tenty gazebo thing, though some of them will even, you can pay to supply that. We have a gazebo, we have a plastic table, a tablecloth, we have a little floor mat now, which I highly recommend. That makes it look nice and comfy. We have a portable table that goes in there, which I've literally done when I had a chair because you just do cervical screenings. We have the classic sort of nervous system poster on the back. An iPad to book people, and our sign. And our sign says, come in and we're awesome. You can have one that says free spinal screenings, but I just think the sign is irrelevant. But that's probably the extreme of what you need. What you then need is an attitude of like, if I sit here and don't talk to people today and don't get any value, then this was a giant waste of my time. And then you don't stand in your stall, stand out in the footpath in front and eye contact and chat to every person. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Hey, what's going on? Someone walks by and like your local footy team, you're just like, come on, the Dockers or something like that. Like, break the ice. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast before, but I did a brief stretch as one of those horrendous humans that sits out front of supermarkets and in shopping malls and sells raffle tickets to you. You know, the people that suddenly you're very interested on the roof when they look at you? Yeah.
Did you do it too?
I applied for a job.
Ugh.
Right. It is. I applied for a job that was called sports marketing. And that's how they advertised. It turned up to this thing. And it was contracted. You got $1 per ticket you sold. I did a 14-hour day where I stood in the rain and made $5. I lost money for going to work. But I tell you what, made it real quick and easy to be able to get in front of people after that and go through the process, right? But it is, you went and you hustled and you just walked in on people and were like, hey, we're raising money for this. And you just had to learn. Like, as soon as someone walked by, you were on. You'd even like people look at the roof. You're just like, hey, that roof's looking mighty dirty, isn't it? Anyway, you should look and learn about this, right? You just went after it and you got real used to getting a lot of no's and it got you close to the yes, right? So it's the same concept. You're there to start conversations. If people are like, no, no stress. I'll be here later on if you want to have a chat, right? And then you need to have some kind of close. Like, there has to be a process. Like, sometimes I know Ed does most of them for us. We've done things from your classic cervical screen or lumbar screen, depending on what's going on. You might ask them what they've got going on. You do a bit of an evaluation, let them know what you think and why they might get in. Some of them, I've seen people do treatment at the markets. I think that's a bit hit and miss with a lot of things. You better have your notes going on if you're doing that, but you do you there, player. But the other side of it is like having some kind of booking reason. So most of the people at the markets are just keen to book. We've got a lot of people that have moved recently into the area and they're looking for a chiropractor. And so they just paid full fee. There was a time where we would do what's called a charity close, where we're like, hey, we're going to raise money for the Australian Spinal Research Foundation. Instead of 150 to get in, it's $50. And I'm going to donate all that money to spinal research, which we did. And then it was our job to close them on the other side because it was easy because you were helping them with something, but it was an easy way for them to get in. They felt good about what they were doing. You were able to support a good cause. And it could be whatever cause. We would often do events at clubs and we would support their club and donate all their initial costs to that. So having some kind of way, like some people do free initials, I think you get a really poor turn up rate. But again, if you've got no one booked and your time is relatively free, well, go at it, player. In terms of getting into clubs and gyms.
Hold up, just before we move on. So
Yeah.
then in that situation, because I look at marketing as push and pull. So a lot of that sort of
Yeah.
stuff is like push, like I got to get in front of you, hustle. Love that, respect it. The other side that I do enjoy is pull, which is you build a brand where people come and they want to talk to you. You know, it's like the other side of the coin. So if there's, how many other people would be at that market on a market stall? Like how big are these things?
How many other stalls are there? There's probably 30 plus stalls in a lot of them.
Local businesses?
Like the ones we tend to go to will have like all your usual like organic veg, food, things like that. Then there might be someone doing massage, someone selling trinkets, you know, all those sort of little things.
What do you reckon the odds of, you know, someone doing market stalls going and talking to, because there's 30 local businesses right there, like go and spend half an hour talking to them?
Well, that's what you, like, again, that's the other benefit. Like you might not get a patient there, but you might build relationships. That's why there's never a lost opportunity. There's only a lost opportunity when you don't use the time. We got invited to it was again one of those like big expo things. It was a women's health expo. And it was, in full disclosure, bless this woman, she tried so hard to get this thing going. There was nobody there. Like, I mean, there was 7 clairvoyants there and like they apparently couldn't foresee that no one was coming. And so like we're there, we're doing thing. Like it was we were poorly marketing as well because we were trying to market our old clinic, which was all different like types of healthcare, but it blended the message. You know, this was a real learning experience. And so you're like, oh, I'm wasting my time. Turns out the lady who ran it, her husband was on the board of one of the major soccer clubs right near my clinic in Melbourne. Got an opportunity to get in front of them from chatting to him. So it's like sometimes it's the opportunity you get outside the place rather than in that you can get. So yeah, going and meeting a lot of the little businesses. How can you support them? I mean, you can also pull market in the sense of instead of going out there and getting in front of people, you might have something random. So this is where people like, you know, have you advertise some kind of evaluation. So most people do the spinal screen, but you might evaluate some kind of like cool screen. This is where people might bring the scanners. I actually think like the Insight scanners are best used from a marketing point of view rather than an actual clinical tool for a lot of these. So you advertise some kind of assessment that pulls people in. And that can work really well for your introverts because they don't have to get in front of people. I don't think it's as effective a lot of the time, or I think the combined approach where you're like, we've got this thing that pulls them in and I'm going to push you into it works really well.
That's kind
But
of,
yeah, you have like,
that's what a lead magnet is, right? That like in a real life situation, that would be what that is.
yeah, it's a real life lead magnet. It's just like, hey, we got this thing. Do you need to get checked? Hey, do you trip over all the time? Let's check your balance. Like, give people a test that they can see an outcome from and have fun with it. And like the thing is, the more personable and fun you are, the more you're going to attract your people. So at least I think those are easy because you're already going somewhere that usually has an established brand and a lot of people coming to it. And then it's just on you to play the volume game. In terms of getting into, like I say, in the other businesses, these days, a little bit of foresight. So you need to go learn about the business, who runs it, what the kind of thing is. And then I would throw, like, it depends how, you can pretty much just go hard and just DM them straight away. I've definitely done that. Just be like, what's up? I've heard great things about your business. I would like to come and check out your space because I'd like to refer people to you. Let me know when suits. Like I always assume they're going to say yes. And then if I haven't heard back, I'll like double click on it. You could pre-build some authority with them by like liking some of their posts, maybe commenting and just saying some nice things about it. So they see you on the radar so that when your DM goes in, they're more likely to look at it. So like I teach in the launch what I call the 10-minute toilet time. It's like on the toilet, bring your phone out. I know it's gross for some women, but the boys, to be honest, everyone's doing it. 6 minutes of basically like searching all the local businesses and like following anyone you haven't followed, follow anyone they tag in their stories. Like that's like a member appropriately then for like 3 minutes after liking, commenting appropriately, and then 1 minute of just DM diving people that are at a point and just going hard after it. And like how using that as a little break, like a little 10-minute sequence each day as you're building to sort of go through and start opening up the doors and relationships. And then make sure you use the person's name. Make sure you sign off personally as you, assume they're keen on it. And then if they do invite you down, make sure you actually go there and learn about how you can send people to them. Because if you turn up and you're just trying to hand cards at them and get them to do stuff with you, that's desperate. Like I remember going to this amazing looking gym in South Melbourne. Yeah. Anyone who's hung around South Melbourne knows that parking is an absolute premium. These people built this monster gym. It had like a high altitude training zone, all these things. And I've reached out to them and been like, I've heard great things. I'd like to come down. I come down. It took me 25 minutes to park. I finally find a park. It cost me like $15 to park. I go in and I meet this woman, and she is like, she's, when someone's trying to overtly sell you on their business, right? She's like, it's the best thing. We've got the best things in the world. We're the best place in the world. This is going on. And she's like, oh, we've got rooms here. Do you want to come in here? Do you get a space? Do you reckon you could bring a client load down here? Do you like, it was the most desperate feeling I've like, I was just like, hey, we've never met. I've come down here to find out, and I'm happy to refer to you if it's a good setup. But you're kind of freaking me out. And I left and was like, yeah, I'm never sending anyone there. And lo and behold, within like 6 weeks, it went under because nobody could go because it just was such a poorly thought out business. If you come in like that and you're like, hey, I've just opened this clinic. Yeah, what do you do? Oh yeah, no, listen, I don't really like CrossFit myself, but because it hurts people. But maybe I'll send some people to you. But because you hurt so many people, do you want me to do a talk for you and show you how to actually move and do all these things? And then the irony is that half the chiropractors who would say that are in horrendous nick and never lifted a weight in their life and think they know how to do rehab. It's not going to work. So like, if you're going to go, like, if you're interested in fitness and you don't look like you've ever touched a weight, going in and trying to tell someone how to do things, it's not going to work.
Yeah, well, that's
So
it.
have
Hey,
some
it's
foresight.
like it's something you said is like bringing value to them as well. I think that's probably something that's the pull. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't take much of a social media following for people to start reaching out and being like, hey, can you do a video on my freaking Thames machine? I have a wireless Thames machine on the way. I don't know
Sure.
why, but it's like there's not like it doesn't take much, but it's like they see value in you having a following. So then if you're in real life doing talks, you need to bring value to the owner so that they want you to talk to their audience to provide value for them too. So if you were going to a CrossFit gym, top of the head, what would you talk about? Like, you're not going in there being like, chiropractic's the best thing in the world, obviously. What's the angle?
Well, like, depends. Like, you mean I'm offering to do a talk for them, or I'm just going to have a chat to them?
Let's start with you're talking to the gym owner. How do you even get that conversation started? And what makes people
Listen,
want
like I said,
to get them together?
I usually just reached out and I said I want to come and find out about sending people to them. And
Yeah.
my hit ratio on that's above 90%. Because listen, I've had people do it to me as well. And I know what they're doing, but it feels good. We're small business owners. It's hard. It's real nice when someone says you're doing a good job and I'd like to come and find out more. And so I go in there with the sole intention of finding out more. What kind of things do you do? What's your difference in the way you instruct? Like, what's your class process? Do you have an onboarding? What do you have comp teams down to like are you more gen pop? Where are the gaps? What do you find commonly are issues? How could I? And usually I just go through that. I almost never mention myself. I never carry cards. And then usually at the end, they're like, oh, this was people that I've listened to them and I actually cared about what they said. And at the end, people are like, oh, what? So talk to me about what you do. I was like, oh, listen, I look after active and I fit individuals. I competed in cross for quite a few years myself, both in South America and through there. I really love sport. I'm just at a point now where I focused on other things. I work with other places. And they're like, oh, what have you done before? I was like, oh, listen, I come in and done talks on, things like deadlifting, rehab, mobility, strength, all these sort of things. It really depends on what you see the biggest issues in your gym are. Like, are people getting injured? Are people not doing certain things? And that's where I often build a custom thing for it. If that's something you want to do, I'm happy to do that, chat to you. And one of the probably the best ones is the other is like, have you ever seen a chiropractor yourself? And they're like, oh yeah, I see someone, I see this person. You're like, oh, that person's a legend. You're in great hands there. Or if they're like, oh, I've seen someone years ago, or I've never seen someone, it's like, well, listen, why don't you come in on me and I can show you, like, you have a couple of sessions on me, see if you like, see exactly what I do. So then, if it's ever something that you think someone can use, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you're early on, it costs you nothing to do that in the scheme of things. And most of those people stay on and become great patients, and especially in CrossFit, and give you opportunity. But I was an afterthought to the process of trying to help them. And the best way you're going to be able to help some, the truth is you're only going to refer so many people. Most people come into your place with a training facility. My role to help them is to give them support, but also to try and make sure that their members stay as injury-free as possible so they don't pause and cancel memberships. And it also gives them credibility. We have a chiropractor, a physio, whatever it is, on like the work we work with. and that goes through there. So, like, again, it's all about them. And if they open the door for it, I will have the conversation about me. If they don't, I won't really have that conversation. And then from the end, I will try and find as quickly as I can some way to give them a win within 72 hours, which might be leaving them a Google review, being like, hey, I went down this place, I absolutely loved it, great crew. Maybe just doing a quick story and then tagging them and sharing it. And if I have the true opportunity to refer someone, I will. But the way to build a relationship is to quickly give something. So I will try and give some kind of thing from to them in what manner I can, depending on where my business is at, as quickly as possible, so that that encourages the relationship. And like all good relationships, you got to feed it and water it. So you've got to often check in, look for options, and keep it building.
Okay, cool. So yeah, there's obviously a lot in that, but ultimately it's just like, how do you provide value and learn more about what they're doing so that you can better their business with your business? Because interestingly, I don't think chiros really get that, you know, you don't see people coming to you that often. And I wonder if that's what stops a lot of chiros from then going out and being the ones facilitating those conversations. And when you were doing the PT stuff, did you have people coming to you talking to you about this sort of stuff, or was this sort of a foreign concept?
Look, I wasn't the best marketer back then. Most of my business is built off of referrals. When I worked with when I worked with I actually left personal training for a little bit to go and learn how to sell. So when I worked with a gym company, we generated all of our leads. We had to generate between 10 to 20 per day. It was all organic. And that was similar to the strategies that you're talking about, Nate, is we were on the street. So it was purely referral based and then cold generation on the street. That was all as a as a new markets, Central Auckland, very very busy. We were just out there, lead magnets games. One day was a silly, like they had a mascot outfit with a sign. All of those dumb things worked, and then the game for us was just referral based. So it would be if I got a person's phone number, I would say, who else do you know that wants to come in, or you're likely to come in with, and then they'll put them down. I say, I'll give them a call, make sure that they know that they have a um a trial as well. You guys can come in together. At the point of sale, we give them a sheet. We say, I'm going to go and tally things up at the table at reception, make sure it's all clear. But when I come back, I'd love it if you could put down 5 names of 5 friends that can come in together, because we know that when people come in as a group, they get mad results. And so they would come back and I might have 1 or 2 names that are there, and we'd just do that all day. And so
Yeah.
that was how I learned to do it organically, purely based off of referral and traffic that was already existing outside of the building. But again, it's all free, you know. You're only exchanging time there.
Yes, I suppose like if you are just sitting there, you've got time. That I think that's the honest reality. You know, if you're looking for new patients, you've got time. So I don't know, maybe you need to schedule a little better, and then actually just schedule in some time to go and do some of these
Yeah.
activities. Obviously, these are older school stuff. Thinking slightly differently, I was talking to a guy the other day because I want to go back to the point of like knowing who you're talking about and then showing up where they are. I saw a guy doing a family practice, and he's like, "Yeah, I just don't really enjoy doing the gym screenings and all of this." And I'm like, "Dude, do you even want to work with people from the gym then?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, then what the fuck are you doing at a gym? Like, why would you show up there?" So just even before, I suppose, any of these things happen, it's like just giving yourself a good half an hour. How long do you reckon you have to think about it? An hour, maybe? And just being like, who do I want to work with? Majority. And where are they? Go to the cafe and shout 20 mums a coffee and talk to them. Like, how hard is it? You know, like just think about it. If you've got 5 patients, go and shout them a coffee and say, hey, bring a mate, and we'll talk through their problems as well. Like, I don't have time in this appointment to go through everything I want to go through, but if I've got 20 minutes of lunch, let's sit down and go through it together. Like, I
Yeah, you
think
want a
we've gone,
$5 lead. You want a
yeah,
$5 lead, go buy a $5 coffee in exchange
literally,
for your name, phone number, and email. Just in case you have any back issues, you know where to call us. It's
literally.
$5 lead.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, you know, they'll be at the little league stuff. Do I set up a stall there?" And I'm like, "No, dude. You follow the freaking 5 patients that you've got at little league, and they're gonna walk around and they're gonna be like, 'This is my chiro. You should meet him.' Oh, Nathan's back's absolutely stuffed. Nathan, talk to this guy about my like. Be a human. I really feel like we've just stopped being. I don't know where. Like, I know there's the whole you can't have professional relationships, but that's like relationships.
Basics.
You're allowed, yeah, you're allowed to be friends with people. It's fine. We've just taken ourselves way too seriously, and then I think that's taken us to the point where we sit in a room and expect people to show up. Like, in what world is that ever going to work? So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's interesting for me anyway. Like, especially after seeing what those guys were going through and what they spoke about with the current chiros. Like, they don't want to, sorry, healthcare practitioners, they don't want to post online, they don't want to make ads, they don't want to make videos, then they don't want to go and stand on the street, they don't want to write emails. It's like, what else
What
is
do
there
you
to
want to
do? Yeah, like, what else is there then? You want to adjust the bed? Like, there's nothing else. So then, yeah, it's funny. So I think the world has gone towards like paid advertising. I do think there's huge opportunities in going back to that older school, not paid advertising, more organic, maybe like, I suppose, not whatever the opposite of social media is, like real life social, develop those, probably more important. And the strategies really are just, if you're talking to someone, how can I help you? If you're talking to a business owner, that would be a leveraged activity, because then there's an opportunity to get in front of more, I feel anyway. But then it's like the conversation's just, well, how can I help you more with your stuff by providing value to your clients? Because that's all you really should be doing. I read a quote the other day that what is it? Money's just a promise of value. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. All you need to do, like a lead magnet, sure, I'm sure you think you're helping someone, but if it never gets in the hands of anyone, you've wasted your time and Claude's time on your freaking lead magnet.
Yeah, but again, whether you're physical or you're digital, the issue that I think that chiropractors face is they have no clue who they're speaking with. There's no real commitment to it. And it's like, well, I help everybody, so everybody can come, so I should message everybody or be available for everyone. Whereas if you want to stand out, you have to have a dedicated message, and you can still help everyone, doesn't matter, but have a very clear message, because a yeah, I'm bombarded by chiropractors where I'm at right now. I'm in Saigon. There's chiropractors everywhere. There's actually only 15 legal chiropractors, but there's backcrackers everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So we're getting bombarded. I'm in a powerlifting phase, and I'm old and I'm injured, right? But once upon a time, I was promised, actually, I was shown research that strength post adjustment increases by a certain percentage in the quadriceps. And there was a study that was done there. So imagine if you went to every powerlifting show, you went to every Saturday gym session, that because powerlifters, you would know, Nate, everyone shows up on the Saturday, and you put something there, and it's like, hey, let me see if I can improve your session today. Here's the research, and this is what the output is. I'll stick around. We'll watch it. We'll film it. We'll see if I can help in your session. Have a look. If it works, this may actually be something that you can consider. Just location is everything, right? Timing is everything, but also just the messaging. And I just feel like digital or physical, the problem is messaging. If someone comes to us, Angus, and they're like, oh, I'm starting to practice, I just need some ads out. What are you going to do? Put out a $49 new patient consult? Awesome. Dude across the road's doing the same thing. Like, there's literally nothing to separate you and your message. And just, I mean, we've tried to really hone in on the offer and the messaging, but it's like there's no commitment to it, and that's where it needs to go, because there's just saturation everywhere. And so it's like you don't look any different, and that's the problem, right? You look exactly the same, and the only authentic thing about you is who you are as a person, right? So coming back to your point, it's like, well, be a person, but be in those environments and be personable, be likable. That's one thing. But the moment that you step away from that, that's when you're going to lose it, because you've got nothing that stands out from you, right? Or about you. And so the market can't associate personality to you, or even any individual sustenance to your offer. There's no depth in the offer, because it's like, if I'm not personable, and I'm not niche enough in my messaging, then what's the difference between chiropractor A versus chiropractor B? Me as the market, I can't I can't tell you. I
Price.
in
That's where
fact
the price
I
comes
don't
from.
price. Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, man, yeah, I just at this point it's easy to ignore.
Where do you reckon the
Yeah.
fear of niching comes from? That might be a difficult one for you, Aaron, but like, Nathan, is there something that we're trained in? Like, what's that about?
I listen. I think the fear comes from like that lack mindset of just like oh, if I was to isolate down, I'm reducing the amount of people I can see. I think it's just still ignorance. I think it's that idea that you're catching someone in a time, usually when you talk about this, where they're not confident, where they're not certain, and when they truly often don't know who they want to look after anyway, which is its own issue, and they need, need people. I air quote there because it should always be, people have the opportunity, they need you more than you need them, but that's not how people look at it. And then you go, all right, well, they're like, there's, like you said, there's 1.2 million people come to Sydney, and you're like, well, I could advertise to all of them, or if I niche down, I might only be able to advertise to 100,000. It's like, Chief, you're lucky if you could handle 50 of them with your setup. Why don't you actually turn up on, that 100,000's radar rather than appearing on no one in that 1.2 million's radar? I think it's just that ignorance of not understanding that you're actually increasing your following, you're increasing the amount of people who see you and the amount of people who actually want to buy from you, rather than decreasing it, even though the actual total market is decreasing.
And the thing is, Russell Brunson's got a concept called the Epiphany Bridge, right? Which is basically you're building stories around the thing that you do to build value in the prospect's mind, so that they can have an aha moment and be like, oh, that's why you're the business for me. That's why you can serve me. So the aha moment for me was during that training block when I was seeing a chiropractor. I went 3 times a week for a certain amount of weeks, 2 times a week, and then back down to one. My bench press went up by 20, 25 kgs, whether that was attributed to it or not. I felt good during the time, right? But the research that was given to me was quadricep strength post adjustment goes up by a certain percentage. Therefore, after adjustments, not only do you get the enhancement of rest recovery, but you can potentially get this increase in strength. Cool. Aha moment for me, Epiphany Bridge. So I like that, which means that I would go there and I would travel 45 minutes to go there. So here's the point, is that when you build an epiphany bridge in the mind of somebody and you're niche enough, people travel to you, right? They will go an hour and 20. If I saw a powerlifting only chiropractor, you can bet I would travel to go to that dude rather than the guy who's 5 minutes down the road from me, because I go, he's specialized. He understands what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, what my training schedule is. I would go there. And so I was in Korea. I was in Busan, Korea last year. And there is an osteo in New Zealand who helps powerlifters and powerlifters and CrossFitters. And I went into a CrossFit and I said, "Oh, I'm a powerlifter." Just got a weird thing. I said, "Oh, I'm a powerlifter in New Zealand," and immediately he was like, "Oh, you must know my friend over here." And a guy in Busan, Korea, was like, I know this dude who works over here, and we were able to connect the dots between two communities on a completely different side. So this guy's on one side of the planet, this guy's over here, and he's like, because I'm niche, I must know this other guy over here. And I did. And it was like, oh, that how buzzy is that? Like, and it's purely because this dude is like, he works within those industries, like within those models, that a guy from Korea would know exactly who this other guy was. So the like you might be going, oh, they're incredibly like small communities, etc. And yet someone would be willing to travel a ridiculous amount of distance to actually go and find you. And then the final story is in the same place. My wife went to a chemist. It's one of the new things that is out at the moment is air seeding. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but air seeding is like you air seeding, like
Yeah.
your ears, right? So they put like, I don't know, pins in your ears and stuff. All right, my wife did it. She filmed it. She put it on TikTok. And this little Busan pharmacist lady, she got like 6 million views on this post with people in Australia saying, where I need that. How do I book tickets to Busan? Like, where is she? How can I get there? And it's like people greatly undervalue a very nuanced message. You know, and it's like that's 6 million impressions, man. It's a lot. She didn't pay anything for those impressions, right? Just because it's like I did this one thing, it was trending, and now I got 6 million people in front of my business, my small little pharmacy on the corner of this Busan street. You know, it's like nuanced, niche messaging is that's the goal. That's how you stand out.
Yeah, and obviously, like I'd even say that that's probably that's more than what a chiro needs. Like the distance between there and where a chiro is right now is so it's just like just help one person at a time. Just pick one and do it because it's going to help you think of ideas organically. It's going to make better content. It's going to make the businesses that you talk to make more sense as well. It really like we really kind of are the jack of all trades, good at everything, not good at anything. That's definitely not the saying, but it's just like we're so vanilla and we're vanilla and we're doing the most expensive activity to try and grow our practices with low margins. So something's like so many things are off. So I think like the whole point of this was, well, advertising is a part of a marketing strategy. Maybe it's the amplification of your marketing strategy. Maybe the reason your lead costs are going up so much is because you don't have a marketing plan. Marketing doesn't just have to be social media and digital online stuff. It can be in person. It can be your local community. It can be your event. At the end of the day, you are brick and mortar. You probably should know the businesses around you anyway and support them and give them help. Then within your community, if you're known for something, then it just 10 times it again anyway. So there's sort of like those key parts that are missing. It's like you're not speaking to anyone, as in you don't know who to talk to. Then you're physically not doing the activities to go and speak to anyone either. And it's like two zeros equals zero. You can 3 times that zero if you like, but it's still going to be zero. So I think, a lean model would be look at who you want to talk to, figure out where the hell they are, work out the ways that you want to get in front of them that are cost effective. And then if you want to do ads, but without those other 3 things, you're kind of just competing on price. That's
Yeah.
sort of the reality
And
of it.
you forgot to add, then they go to ads and then they also don't call. So
Yeah.
they
Oh, yeah.
spend their money to sit there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Why the hell would you get someone's name, email, and phone number if you're not going to
yeah,
call them or email them?
yeah. Oh man.
Right.
Good Lord.
It's we laugh, but from sadness.
It's a
Not
sadness. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's-
sent an email out today. Like, because again, it was like a weird reflection or like a circle moment for me, I suppose, where I was like, yeah, that was me. I was the same. Like I did the same thing. Call someone, they didn't answer. I'd be like, what a waste of time. Get me better leads. And then last night I had a call with a guy who's hopefully going to work with us. I've been sending him emails. He's been listening to this podcast. He'll probably listen to this one. I've done 3 calls with him, probably spent 2.5 hours, multiple personal emails, and then also all those other emails that I do, and then all the posting that I do on Instagram and the ads that we run throughout this 6-month time period for him to potentially start in 6 weeks' time. And I'm like, I'm still keen for him to start. I'm not like, this guy's wasting my time. That's just what nurture is. And we somehow missed all of that at some point. And we expect ring. Actually, people don't even want to ring now. It's just book online and pay before you come. So you actually show up. Brother, who do you think you are? That's kind of, yeah, sort of went off topic there. But anyway, that's, I think is another point. It's just like the expectation versus the input is what's causing a lot of people a lot of frustrations. And there's so many things you can do. And especially when you got the time and you want to get busier, go and use your time getting busier. That's the whole point of this one. Yeah, that's my closing comments. Thanks again, boys.